Hello and welcome to the Sideline Live podcast. My name is Orla Keeling and I am the host of the podcast, where every week we bring you a brand new episode with guests ranging from Olympic champions to local heroes, coaches, support staff, and anybody involved in the world of sport. Each week we will dive into different topics, including current affairs in sport, identity, skill, mindset, coaching, and also shine a light on those flying under the radar. So tune in every brand new episodes, new stories, and new insights you've never heard before. Okay, delighted to be joined by Israel Olatunde. Israel, thank you for joining me from a very sunny Florida.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me. So,
Tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you end up in Florida?
so like, it's kind of hard to choose like a starting point because I feel like everything in my, I guess like life and career has kind of led to this point. But I started off doing athletics locally in Dundalk. Things kind of progressed from there. I realized I was pretty talented, and things I took off. Started representing Ireland. I went to UCD around there, and that's where I broke the Irish national record back in 2022 for the first time. And I signed my first professional contract then. And so my move to Florida has kind of been in conjunction with me being a professional athlete with Adidas, and I'm out here training with the Adidas training group. This is my second season out here, so that's kind of how that kind of came apart. So
There's something in the water with the success in Dundalk at the moment.
yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think we're just both different. Like Dundalk athletes. I think we're just both different. People in Dundalk, we're I think we have the best town definitely in life anyway. So.
Well, actually, someone told me, I heard a stat. Actually, there's quite a good basketball team there now as well. They're producing really good athletes, and he told me I think it was like one of the fastest growing towns I think in Ireland or youngest or something like that. It was, and I was like, I didn't even know that, and I was like, oh wow, like it's just gonna. All I heard is the success will continue in the sporting arena. I think.
100%. I think that's the Dundalk Ravens he's talking about. So shout out to them. So
Yeah.
they're loads of my mates back at home. They played for the Ravens, and yeah, they're killing it for sure. So
Love it. What sports did you play growing up apart from running around?
I played soccer. I did a little bit of guy. I did basketball with my school as well. But yeah, I had no skill in any of the sports. I could just like run fast, jump high. I was a bit strong, so that's why I had a little bit of success in each one. But yeah, that's why I kind of started athletics. So.
Fair. You were just like, I'm quicker than everyone. Let me just keep running. And were you always fast though, like growing up?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I was always like fast, like one of the fastest kids in school, but I was never like the fastest. There was always like one or two that were a little bit faster than me. That I had to kind of work to work to run down. But yeah, on the soccer field, I was always the fastest. And yeah, but then going starting with athletics and starting sprinting. I started when I was like about 15. It's just a different type of speed. Like I thought it was quick. But then, like you start athletics, you're getting beaten by like by everyone. You're coming last in races. Like, what's going on? I thought it was fast. Like,
And where are these other kids that were faster than you? Did they just give up or where are they now?
everyone's journey is different. So like, there's times where I was at the top. There's times where I wasn't. So everyone's journey is different. There's still, that's why I love athletics. Is just the guys who I kind of started off, racing against and training with. Like they're still going now, and some of us are on international teams together. So, it's really great to like see other people's journeys kind of fold out. So.
Yeah, because that's the other thing in terms of I was saying to you before we recorded, kind of the audience who listened, a lot of younger people that, would look up to likes of yourself and other athletes have had on, just managing the peaks and troughs of a career. Just talk us through, how do you deal with kind of setbacks and those up and down days?
Yeah, I think like in any sport, but like just in life in general, like you're just gonna come like, and I think I've had my fair share of ups and downs over the years. Um, especially after the success of my first national record back in 2022. That was such a big peak. Coming fifth at a European Championship. I think I was 20 years old, national record, and then after that, I didn't really get the success that I thought would come, from a performance like that. But just like those moments kind of teach you more about yourself and teach you more about like the journey you're on. Like you kind of discover, like, can I actually, come back for this? Is this what I love to do? And, I figured out that, this is worth this, what I'm doing in this journey I'm on is worth any, difficulties that I'm going to encounter. And I'm actually strong enough, mentally and physically to overcome these hard times. So.
Yeah, I love that. Because I really felt in 22, like you really just exploded onto the scene. I really found the media attention, particularly that year, I think just around you coming onto the scene, like you were kind of everywhere. I think obviously with the Europeans as well, there was a bit of, I was looking at interviews you did before this, kind of a lot of stuff with Spar. You really kind of capitalised quickly on that victory. Like a lot of people, they kind of get a bit of notoriety or media attention. I think it's probably grown athletics anyway, but I really felt in that year, did you feel the support and the kind of, did you feel like you had a bit of a presence then in terms of the media and stuff like that?
Yeah, 100%. Like the support and everything was like it came flooding. Even like beforehand, like as I was like kind of getting faster and faster as the season went on, like everyone was just like showing me so much love and support and encouraging me to keep going. Because like there was like warning signs, that I was gonna, run a fast time that summer, and even after as well. I think like, just because like Paul Hession, he held the record for so long, and for me to come along and kind of take Irish men's sprint into a new stage, to a new like arena, I guess, being getting to a European final and getting then to 10-1s. I think everyone just got excited about that as much as I did, as well. So it was great to see people come around and support me. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What's it like being part of this? I'm not going to call it the golden generation because I like to think we've years to come of this just success in athletics. Like it's just exploded in the last
Mm.
couple of years. You being one of the one of the front runners for, excuse the pun there, that was not intended.
Have a
Um,
good one.
like, but being going to the European final as a sprinter, like with the
Mm.
Irish vest on, that is not something we have seen. And now we're like, not to say it's put any pressure on you saying there's an expectation, but like, there's, the girls being fourth in the Olympics, like it's just different now with what we're doing at the moment in Irish athletics.
Yeah, I think it's great to like just to be you mentioned alongside some of the names like the Irish like athletes nowadays. There's so much talent, there's so much ability there, and to be included in that like it's really it really is an honor. And yeah, as you said, like there is a bit of an expectation there. It's not even like just like it's just natural. Like I've that was 2022. That's 4 years ago now that I made the final. Um, and now, like, I'm going into the season, me and my coach, Lance Brahman, we have expectations, to be back in the final, but like not just be in the final, but to be pushing for a medal. There's no reason why not. Last season around 10.08 seconds, which, ranked me in the top 10 fastest Europeans. So like, why not, take another step, push on, for medals. And like you see other Irish athletes, Kieran McGean, Key McPhillips, Rashida, Mark English, they're all pushing for medals. They're taking Irish athletics to like a new, even like even out of this world really, and I want to be part of that as well. So.
Mm. Is there a good camaraderie there? Like I'm interested, like because it's such an individual sport in terms of the competing. You mentioned you're in a training group. You've mentioned all the names that are having so much success in the Irish Vest at the moment. Is there a good camaraderie and good understanding there with Irish athletes, but also with your training group?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the Irish team, like it's just there's just like an atmosphere of like of great support. Everyone's supporting each other. Everyone is a fan of each other. But always go like and watch each other compete at these championships. That means a lot. It might not sound like a lot, but like having being able to look up and see Irish people in the crowd supporting you, like it means a lot. And especially for younger athletes, who might be their first championship, having some of the older experienced athletes still support them and encourage them. It just means the world. It makes you feel so much more comfortable. And even in my training group, like when I joined this training group at the end of 2024, I was thinking like, like, okay, I'm gonna train with one of the best coaches, in sprint history. He's coached the second fastest man in the 100 meters and the 200 meters. So I'm going to this training group like it's going to be a hostile environment. Training with Noah Lyles and Dream Richards, some of the fastest men ever. But it's literally the opposite. Like it's the most like everyone in my training group is the most down. They're so down to earth. Everyone's encouraging each other. It really is like a team environment, and it's something like I never thought would I never expected, I never experienced before. Um, so like it's great. Like, and that's what you need. Obviously, when it's time to compete, we're gonna compete hard, but in training, we're all very encouraging and supportive of each other for sure.
Yeah. You train hard and say this, you party hard as well.
And I don't know about the partying part, but but yeah, for sure, definitely training hard.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of big names there. It would be remiss of me not to ask. And I've had Dr. Jo Brown on. She's done a huge amount of work with Noah. That's the name, people who maybe are interested in athletics or maybe not fully involved will kind of jump out to them. What's Noah like as a training partner?
He's like a mentor to me, honestly, and to all of us younger athletes in the training group. Like he's been, to the highest peaks in the sport. He's been where we want to be, and he's not like selfish or he doesn't hold on to any of his knowledge or experience. He shares that with us like every single day, and yeah, having someone like him, like he's a really great like role model for all us athletes in the group for sure. So.
What's the biggest, away from the mechanics and the cueing, and the coaches, and even the reps and the sets and everything you're doing on the track? Just interested in the lessons you've learned from, you know, moving to a professional training group. Like, what's the what's the piece, the biggest takeaway piece you've learned apart from just the running bit?
Mm. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is just how much like the mental side like matters, in sport, especially in something like sprinting where like literal like milliseconds, thousandths of a second, like that's what separates you from, being a winner and coming fourth place. Um and it starts like now like we're in January, I'm aiming for the European Championships in August. Like it starts now, it starts even before now. Like you have to get in that right mindset as early as you can, or else you're not going to be able to have that edge when the time actually comes to compete. Just not being too hard on yourself in training. You might think, oh, like I have to be really like focused, have to be locked in. That's true, but you just have to be a balance. You can't. You're going to burn yourself out if you're too uptight 24/7. So know when to turn on, know when to switch off mentally, and that aggression. Of course, it's aggressive. It's a violent sport, sprinting, but knowing to turn that on and off definitely is important. So, and I've learned that from being in this training group. So,
Brilliant. That's it. I like that. It's a violent sport.
yeah, it's violent, but it's beautiful at the same time. It might be a bit cringe, but I use this analogy. Like this is like for me, sprinting is like an art. Like you're going out there, you're throwing shapes. Like it's very beautiful, but at the same time, like you're trying to kill the person next to you. Like it's a juxtaposition, but that's such a beautiful thing about what I do. So.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm always interested in the dynamic on race day in the call room, because you're like you all have so much in common, but you're all competitors, and as you say, you're trying to kill each other on the track. So how do you manage that? How do you and maybe just away from the call room as well, but just in general, being with your competitors, and managing that kind of relationship, for lack of a better term, of being competing and pushing each other on, and without getting too close, but being maybe friendly or maybe not.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I feel like, firstly, the call room is probably one of the most like interesting places in I would say in any sport, because like it's just like it's where like your preparation meets like performance, like like that's where the performance like it starts. Like I guess it gets to start beforehand, but that's where things get real, in the college room where you're there, you're shoulder to shoulder with your biggest competitors. Like you're about to go out there and perform, and like if you're in a college room, like it's most likely you're at a big race or a championship. So um yeah, just thinking like you have to really have a plan going into it mentally, like not to let yourself get too hyped, get too anxious, or be too relaxed. Again, everything's just about the balance, and I feel like it's the same thing with my training partners and my relationship with them. Like of course, like I want to. It's no lie. Like I want to beat them. They know that, and they want to beat me too. But at the same time, I'm having that balance of like like if I support you, like it's gonna help me in the long run, and then and even if you take away the selfish desires, like just like seeing my training partners and seeing the work they put in, I'm a fan of them just from seeing their journey and being part of their journey. But at the same time, I want to be a little bit quicker than them. So.
Yeah, yeah. Where does that understanding come from, though? Like, there's a great saying, "Iron sharpens iron," and what you're saying there in terms of we're pushing each other on. When did that understanding come into? Well, if my training partners get better, I'll eventually get better.
I think it's something I kind of realized early on when I was training, like back in Ireland. Like I I had a kind of like a quick rise, in the Irish ranks, and like I became like the fastest, um, the top guy in Ireland pretty quick. So like I didn't really have you know athletes who might have been like on the same level as me, but I saw guys to train with. So just knowing that, like, okay, if I'm encouraging my training partners and making them better, I'll have like better guys to train with, if that makes sense. And that's no like disrespect to the Irish sprinting scene, but that's just how things are. And that's like that's the reason why I kind of made the switch and the move to train here in Florida, to have like to kind of be on the other end of the spectrum where I'm not the top guy. I have guys to chase and guys to to learn from. So,
When you're at the start line in the blocks, what actually goes on in your head?
ooh, that's an interest. I feel like it changes like over time, but I feel like when like I'm at my best, just nothing going on in my mind. Like it's almost like a primal instinct that like you have. Like there's no thoughts, like your mind is blank, like you're hyper aware of everything, like you're there, your fingers are on the track, you're feeling the texture of the track, your head is down, like, and like you're just listening for the starter's instructions. Like when he says set, you just move up. When you hear that gun, you just go. Like there's no thoughts going on. I think that's when like you're in that flow state, like you're not thinking about your actions, but you've done it so many times, hundreds and thousands of reps, like, and then when it's time to go, like you're automatic, like.
When you said I'm at my best, so on the days that you aren't at your best and it's still time to perform, how do you try get to that flow state? Is there anything you try do?
um I mean, there's two. I guess there's two scenarios. So there's a scenario, I guess, where like you're actually working on something. Like let's say like in my first few races, I don't expect to be in the flow state. I'm still working on things. Like when I start racing in May, like I'm still working on things in competition with the vision that things will come together by August, and I'll be able to be in that flow state. But in May, things are a bit more manual, if that makes sense. Like you have to kind of think things through. You want to work on different parts of the race, and that's fine. And then there's also times where like you are like at a championship and like you're just not there mentally. Um, so you kind of just have to you can't force yourself into a flow state. You kind of have to kind of work with what you have, I guess, in that moment. But I think that's why it's so important beforehand, in the lead up to it, to just to do everything you can to get yourself in the right mind space. And everyone has their different routines and things like that. Like for me, sometimes I'll listen to like hype music, but sometimes I might listen to like some classical music, just depending on if I need to hype myself up or bring myself back down to that middle ground. So.
Okay, that's interesting. So if I was to put you on a scale of 1 to 10, or 1 to 10, and the flow state for you, where are you on that scale?
Uh,
10 being bursting at the seams,
hmm,
hyped as F, and then 0 being
okay.
as laid back on the ground as you could be.
For me, flow state is probably like a probably like a five. And that's such like a I think it is a five. I'm thinking about it now, like I'm like there is like again, it's like does that like violence in you, but then also like that serenity as well. Like it's I'm thinking about it and I'm smiling because it's the most beautiful feeling like I've ever felt. And like as I'm speaking to you now, I'm literally like getting excited to feel that again soon. So I think right in the middle, like that's my sweet spot. So.
How do you deal with the days that I was having this conversation with someone recently, a different sport now, but we were talking about, being, it wasn't about being a pro, but you being a pro, going and training on the days that you don't really want to train, just your advice to athletes on who are listening that are kind of wanting to be in your shoes and or get to an elite level in whatever sport they're doing, just on, showing up every day and the importance of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's almost like a privilege to have days like where you don't want to train, like because that means like you're actually doing something that's hard and doing something that's worthwhile. Um, and like this might be toxic, but like I just see like I don't have an option. Like I want to be great, and this is what the greats do. Like you work on the times like where you don't want to, and like you think like okay, like my competitors they aren't gonna want to do this type of work, but I'm gonna do it. Like I know that you shouldn't really, it should be more internal, but like I'm just being honest here. Like Like those are things that's going through my mind. And like the satisfaction of like when you once you do something you don't want to do, but you know it's better for you. Like you feel such a satisfaction after like I can do hard things, and that goes beyond sport. Like that's just like that's a life skill. Being able to do hard things that make you better, that are gonna be better for your future. Um, so like for young athletes, like doing the hard things is gonna make you such a more well-rounded person. Like, and you're gonna thank yourself for it. Like whether like we all want to achieve our goals in sport, but like by going through this journey, you're gonna become a better person. That's gonna help you like in your relationships, in your work life, and everything, and just be be happier for it. So
You're an old soul. You're 23 and you've all that wisdom. Where does that come from? Like you seem to be very mature
uh,
for, for what you're doing your age.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I feel like I still have some maturing to do, but like I know all these things, but it's a different thing actually putting into practice. I'm still learning, I'm still on this journey. Like I know better, but I don't always do better. So, but I think I think it's my upbringing, my family, I have an older brother, older sister. Like I'm the youngest, so like I have the privilege of learning from my older siblings, and they're like my biggest role models and my biggest support in life. So
Amazing. Yeah, I heard you speak before, just the importance of family for you. What do they do out of interest? So they don't do athletics.
no, my older brother, he's an engineer. My little sister, she's a surgical assistant. So yeah, they're and just like seeing them like and they love what they do, and like that's one of the biggest motivations for me. Like seeing them do what they love to do. I just love in general when I see people like actually just doing what they love to do, and I'm not necessarily as like your job, but like if it's a hobby, or if it is your job, just seeing people do what they love to do. That's like I just love seeing that. So
Yeah. When you say in terms of doing what you love, I'm interested. There's this great saying: "Do what you love, and you never work a day in your life." Would you agree with that one?
I think so. Like I'm in such a privileged position. Like obviously I work hard, but like I'm here like in Florida, like and I'm living my dream. Like sometimes I get really anxious and might be disappointed after certain training sessions, but then I just sit down and think like like literal 13-year-old Israel was like thinking about this, like he was dreaming about this, having daydreams, and like you're living it now. Like there's no time, you're not allowed to be sad. Like honestly, I know that sounds bad, but like I'm literally I can't not have a smile on my face when I look around at my situation. So
Yeah, that's yeah. I'd let you. I'd give you the kind of the leeway with it. Although I will say for the listeners, he was complaining about how nice the weather was before we recorded, so that
too
will not
sunny, too
fly on this
sunny.
podcast. That's amazing. No, and I'm interested, like with being an athlete, and I was having this conversation with a younger athlete before. They're doing their thing, they're following what they want to do, and being maybe a little bit different to all their friends. We're having that conversation around, their friends are in college now. They're doing something a little bit different, and it's funny. We all kind of do the same things. We all, like going skiing, J1, interrailing. We tick it all off the bucket list, being a little bit different and kind of following a different path. I think there is a bit of bravery in that. Just
Mm.
what's it like being that little bit different and being a pro athlete and not following the traditional, particularly the Irish route of interrailing, skiing, J1, mortgage, go to Asia
Mm.
and come back. How are you finding that piece?
Um, like first, I think like like even if like you are following a more traditional path, nothing wrong with that as long as like you're fulfilled in that. Like this sounds crazy as well, but like when I was younger, I used to also dream of like wearing a suit and tie to an office. Like that was like I don't know what TV show I watched, but something I watched something and I saw like someone wearing a suit and tie to an office. I was like, I want to be that so bad, and I did an internship in KPMG actually when I was in third year of college, and that was like the best time of my life. Like I loved it so much, but I think just like overall, it's just like kind of goes back to like what I was saying. Like you just have to find like what you love to do, you really like, and like find a path that like makes you feel fulfilled, like and that you're proud of, like no matter what it is, you don't have to be different from other people, but like as long as you're true to yourself and authentic to yourself, that's what really matters. And it can be scary because like if you haven't seen anyone do what you've done, like I'm like the fastest Irishman in history. No one else is doing what I'm doing. Like even if like there's guys from here in America that are faster than me, that are doing better than me, but like they've never grown up in Dundalk. Like they've never went to UCD. They've never followed like my path, and it's unique to me and it's beautiful to me, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And that's all that matters. Like even if someone else might have like more conventional success. Like I'm happy, like, and I'm like I can't complain. Like I'm living my dream. So
Yeah, I love that. What a flex as well. The fastest Irishman in history.
it's not. It's kind of fun to say. So
Definitely, if that was me, I'd be like fastest Irish woman. I would say it in every sentence. What? But in terms of chatting to you here and getting to know you, like I get the sense you're very much more than an athlete. I love that saying. Do you feel when? Do you feel sometimes people box you in as just an athlete? You were saying there, good shout out to KPMG in case they're listening for a job offer maybe some point. You're definitely more than an athlete from getting to know you. Do you find people sometimes try put you in a box maybe?
um, I feel like I feel like I'm the one that kind of puts myself in the box really sometimes. Like I feel like especially after that first like big success back in 2022 after the Europeans, like I felt like that was like my whole identity. Like I am the fastest Irishman in history. I have to push further. Like this is all I have really. But I think just like realizing that like what you do, doesn't it's not like who you are. Like it's just what you do. Like we're because like if like let's say God forbid like my career ended like right now in this moment, like I feel like I'm still gonna be happy because I'm gonna find something to do. Like athletics and sprinting, it's just what I express myself through. And if I don't have it, I'm gonna find something else to express myself through. Like, and I think once you get to that stage, like it's that's like peak kind of fulfillment. Obviously, I don't think I've reached that just yet. Yeah, I'm still. It's a journey. It's never ending journey. But um, I think just like knowing who you are outside of what you do is so important, and being able to dip and dive into different interests and different activities like is so healthy for our development as humans, really. So,
I love that. What's your favorite non-sporting thing to do or non-athletics thing?
um, I got some. You're pushed on a book right now. Like I'm reading. I like to read. I'm doing a jigsaw puzzle there as well. I just anything that's like that just like slows me down. Like don't ask me how long I've been doing the jigsaw puzzle for because it's a bit embarrassing. But I like to like I do this thing where like each maybe every 3 months I'll start a new playlist on Spotify and I'll just like curate music that I'm enjoying at the moment. So just anything that kind of slows me down. Like I feel like life is just so it just passes by so quick. So anything that like where I can sit down and like admire um you know like different things like life, art, music. That's what I love to do. So
I love it. The fastest Irishman in history likes things that slow him down.
yeah. Yeah. Like life is short. Life goes by quick, and especially like I might spend like 5 hours at the track and at the gym, around some of the biggest personalities that you probably ever meet in the world. So when I come out of that, like I'm not going out to bars or anything wrong with that at all. But like just for my lifestyle, like I'm not going to I'm gonna sit in my apartment and just chill out and anything to slow me down. So but yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. No, it's so important to switch off. When did you? Was there ever a point where you maybe burnt out, or you had to learn that, or was it always something that you're very conscious of growing up?
I think it's something I was always conscious of, but like at the same time, I didn't always practice it. I think um, that's a big thing. Like I might say loads of stuff on this call. But I'm not perfect at all. There's just times where like you forget, or like you just we're all humans. Like we all make mistakes. So I think just growing up and maturing, like you realize kind of what works for you and like what doesn't, and like what's important and what's not. And some things might be important at a certain time of day, but another time of the day it's not important. Like it's time to look at something else. So that's just like experiencing by growing up. So
I've written down the line you said earlier. I know better, but I don't always do better, and I like that.
yeah.
I'm gonna rob that one. Do you feel like when you're running and the purpose and the why behind it? I don't want to get too deep, but are you running away or you're running towards something? I'm getting a bit metaphorical
Mm,
here with the running,
mm,
with the purpose
yeah.
and success.
Yeah. This is getting deep. This like I'm talking to my sports psychologist. Like she's definitely used that. She's used that line on me before. I think for a long, I guess when I was younger, growing up, like again, like you have dreams of being, the best, like of being able to express yourself in front of, thousands of people, and that's me running towards, a goal. But then once you achieve, like a little bit of success, like then it becomes like, okay, I have to protect this. Like I can't lose this now. Like, and instead of like reaching for more, you're kind of like, trying to just protect what you have, and you're running away like from things like, but. I think at this stage, like where I am right now, like I can confidently say like I'm definitely striving for more. Like there's more to achieve and more to express. Like I think that's the main thing. Expressing myself. Like if I'm able to get to a point in my career where like I feel like I've put out everything that I feel like I can, but it might not be like again conventional success, but like if I'm satisfied with what I put out, that's all that matters really. So that's definitely like the mindset I'm in now, but it hasn't always been like that, and it fluctuates, so.
How do, when you after you finish a race, it's interesting in athletics. And I was talking to a coach about this before. We were talking about in GAA, they try not to keep the score when you're younger and all this crack. And it's like, whereas some other kids that might do
Mm,
athletics or sprinting, they want to know because it's so definitive. They're like, am I first, second, did I win or lose? Because it's either first, second,
mm,
third, or you didn't get a medal, or maybe
mm.
you can obviously place other places. I'm just interested in how much do you put weight on the feel of your performance, not just the number or the place, and in terms of your feeling, how you're actually feeling, but also from a maybe the psychological thing of, oh, I felt really good during it and I feel really good after. I'm just, how do you how do you quantify success beyond the number?
That's interesting. I think for me, I've I feel like I'm just like a very like for me like I don't I don't respond too well to like to technical overly technical analysis. I'm very like much more of a feeling based person, and especially in my sport as well. That's how I learn things, and especially like with results as well. Like when I think back to like my favorite race where I learned the most and I feel like I achieved the most last season. Like it's 2-0, I think, in that race. But just the feeling of it, and like I think context matters so much. And like in that race, I wasn't feeling good. I'd raced 2 days earlier in Cork around 10.32, which isn't the best time, and like I wasn't feeling good going into Morton Games, and I didn't have a good warm up. But like I just looked at the crowd and I'm thinking like I'm in my home stadium, like this is gonna be a fun day no matter what. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna step off the track with a smile on my face and end up winning that race. And I did walk off with a smile on my face. I took in the crowd as well, and that's my most special moment from last season. It's not even my best race I ran, so I think like it's what puts a smile on your face most. What's leaving you the most fulfilled? I think that's like definitely like what I take from races. And obviously you can break it down then as well. Like, okay, like I'm happy. I was happy going into this race. So what made me get into this type of mood? Like, and you can take that into your future races, and that's how you can kind of use those moments uh to help set you up for like future positive experiences. So
Do you ever do you ever kind of feel or think back to like when you were younger, before the headlines, before the records, and do you ever wish for a time maybe that you're going into a race without the expectation, and no one kind of expects you to kind of put up a certain number? Is there kind of do you miss that at all, or is there always, or do you kind of like having the title and the pressure and the expectation?
sometimes, honestly, sometimes like I wish I didn't have it, but like realistically, like I think back, I try to think to like an actual moment, or I try to think of a scenario where like I won't have pressure, and like I that's like once if I don't have pressure, I think that's like my career like done. Like that's when I'm gonna walk away from the sport. Like I always want there to be like a pressure that like for me to perform really. Because that means like you're like there's something for you to achieve, and I always want to achieve things. I always want to put something out there. Like if you have something that's worthwhile putting out there, you're always going to feel a little bit of tension, a bit of pressure, and if you don't, then like you might not be doing something that's like worthwhile to you. Like you have to be honest with yourself. So I always want that pressure. I always welcome it, and I love it. Like that's what makes me feel alive, really.
I love that. I love that. What drives you more, winning or losing, or wanting to win or fear of losing?
I want him to win for sure. Like because if you're in a situation where like you fear losing, like you're already the top dog, so that means like that doesn't really mean too much if you win. But if you win when no one's expecting you to win, like that you're that guy. Like that's cold. So
Okay, that's interesting. Has that always been the case?
I feel like naturally that's my temperament. But I think again like it hasn't always been like that. Sometimes I can get too caught up with and trying to protect what I already have instead of trying to reach for more. But naturally, as a young kid, that's what I always wanted. So
What do you find in terms of being a pro versus amateur? Just in terms of all the time you have now, you said you were at the track for 5 hours. You're still busy. I'd make it sound like you're doing nothing all day. But, in terms of going from being busy and running around everywhere and going to UCD and track and everything to just this being your job and then having all this free time, like, how do you fill the free time? And did you ever struggle with that?
I definitely did. I feel like when I was in Ireland, I definitely did struggle with the free time. Actually, like it's funny because like I was like full-time professional athlete, but like I actually started working part-time with Downey Sports actually to try to like 'cause I had nothing to do during the day, and like, we trained in evenings in Ireland, so I had nothing to do. So I wanted to kind of use that time wisely, and so I started working part-time with Downey Sports as a junior software developer, and that was really fun, honestly. But now, like over here in the States, like there's like even though like we're at the track for only 5 hours a day, it sounds like small, like a little amount of time. But you get home, you have to eat, you have to do your recovery, you have a massage, you have meetings. Like it's literally 24/7, really. Like even like now, like today, Sundays is a complete rest day, but like everything I'm doing today is gearing me up for tomorrow's track day and gym session. So, um, as a professional, like you really, it's not that you have free time, but like you can really just pour that time into like the things that like separate the great athletes from the elite, you know?
My favorite question. What separates them then? What is it?
Mm. Honestly, I'm thinking about my training partners, and like I think just it's just that it's the mental, it's all mental. Like if you like really having that belief in yourself, I think people think belief in yourself is like, oh, like I'm the greatest. No, like it's when like being able to realize, okay, this is a weak point of mine. Like being able to accept that, be humble about it, and work on it. And if you make mistakes, like just take them as they come, conceptualize them, and like see how you can get better. There's no ego there really. And that's I'm thinking about guys like Noah and Dream, and that's something I'm trying to learn from them. I think that's one of the biggest things, like how flexible you are mentally. I think, yeah.
Amazing. I love that. Looking back to your younger self, we will get to the advice piece, but I would love to know what do you what did the younger you not know yet about the sport that you've learned that's really important, or like something that you maybe was a something that you understood but didn't maybe see the importance of it? I'm just interested. Kind of separate to advice, it was just kind of something you hadn't learned yet, but you have now.
Um, Let me think. I think just how like you think that like I don't I hope this doesn't like go into the advice, but like just how like you think like the guys at the top they're gods. Like you think they're untouchable. Like I used to think like guys who run sub 10, like how is that possible? That's you guys have to be aliens, but like you can like it's possible. Like so I'll leave it at that so I don't get into any advice, but like it's just like realizing that like the great things in this sport are possible. So
Amazing. That's really interesting. How do you find in terms of going in, sprinting, balancing life outside it? Like I'm just thinking now, and I'm really fascinated by Derval O'Rourke. She was always looking one step ahead, and you mentioned kind of KPMG and maybe working part time. If sprinting was taken away tomorrow, God forbid, hopefully it doesn't. Jeez, whenever I say that question, I would never like people think I
mm.
want them to stop. Just what do you think? What would you struggle with? Is there anything like would you miss the routine? Would you miss the competing piece? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Mm. I think being able to like it might sound vain, but like being able to like work out for a living, like I'll probably like be like one of the biggest things, like finding time, like I say, like I get a 9 to 5, finding time to actually put as much time into the gym and working out and stuff. Probably that I'd say.
Love it. Is I get the sense from chatting to or interview not chatting but interviewing athletes, particularly for athletics. One of the biggest benefits of the sponsorship is I didn't realize the amount of shoes that you go through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's crazy. Like it's funny 'cause I'm looking over here, and I have actually like a mountain of boxes of, and that's just like a small portion. I have in Ireland. I have so many as well over in my closet. Like that's like yeah, that's one of the coolest things ever. So
Is that the best benefit? The shoes.
Probably yeah. Like I'm not having to buy like workout clothes. I don't want to sound like a prick, but like that's it's so cool. Like honestly, like
And
yeah.
your uniform is shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah. Literally, like it doesn't get much better than that, really. Like suit and ties are very dapper, but like, hey, nothing beats a good tracksuit. So
Yeah, you'll have enough time after your sprinting career to be in a suit and tie anyway. And
yeah,
look,
for sure, for sure.
I'm a size 7.5. If there's any spare going, just let me know.
I got you. I got you.
This year, big year coming up. Give us, without telling state secrets, what's the goals going forward? What should people tuning in be looking to, or even tell us where you're going to compete? Like, where should we be looking for you and following your journey?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's no secret. Like last year around 10.08. This year, I want to be the first Irishman to go sub 10 seconds. I want to see a nine on that scoreboard, and the European Championships. There's no better place to do it than there. So in August, European Championships in Birmingham. That's where I put all the bets are getting laid down. So
Love it. Will you get home for the Morton Games before that?
I pray so. I pray so. So 'cause I love racing in Ireland. So that's definitely on my calendar.
Deadly. What's your, like, of the goals you've set? If I was to ring you in 10 years' time, hopefully you pick up the phone. You might still be sprinting by then. Who knows? What would
Yeah,
you
maybe.
What would you love to have achieved? Like, is there one thing you're like dead set on? I want to do in my career. Is it the sub 10?
Mm. I guess like achievement wise. Mm, yeah, sub 10 for sure. But like I want a medal. Like I want European Championships, World Championships. I want a medal around my neck. I want to be at the top of the podium hearing the Irish anthem being played. That's a achievement wise. That's the biggest one.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from sport, Israel?
Biggest lesson I've learned from sport. I think that doing the hard things is just gonna make you a better person overall. Like, if you want to be a better person, like find something hard to do, and you're gonna learn so much about yourself. So.
You said, I love the line, when I'm at my best. So are you at your best when you're winning or when you're striving to win?
mm, Both. I feel like there's no separation for me. Like it's like being on the same road. Like it's like looking down the road, but like you're still on the road. Winning, losing. So I think both for me.
Good answer. I'm going to go through the sideline seven. It's the same 7 questions at the end of every episode. Question one: what's your favourite quote? I get the sense you are a quotes man.
Mm, my favorite quote. Uh, it's a Bible verse, if that's all right. Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I'm your God. I'll strengthen you, I'll help you, and I'll uphold you with my righteous right hand. And that's like a Bible verse that's like stuck with me since I was a kid, and I find so much comfort in it. I used to write it on my spikes and stuff, so I love it. Yeah.
What do you write in your spikes out of interest? Do you add any kind of personalised stuff?
Honestly, when I was younger, I did, but now like I get so much spikes, so like I go through them so quick, so I don't really bother to write anything on them anymore.
That's such a flex. I have too many spikes to be writing stuff on it. Question two: best sporting event you've been to? Pick one as a competitor and one as a fan.
As a competitor, the European Championships 2022 in Munich. And as a fan, mm, as a fan, yeah, WWE. Yeah, I went to WWE a few weeks ago. That was the best. I know that's sports entertainment, but that's still the best thing ever. Like, yeah.
I'll let that slide. What's on your bucket list outside of competing? Was there anything you want to hit while you're in the States?
I want to do like a really long road trip, like multiple days, even weeks, like a really long road trip. Yeah.
Where would you, around Florida or elsewhere?
Definitely. I definitely want to like touch a few different states. I know like that could take ages, but definitely like maybe like a few states, definitely for sure.
Class. That sounds pretty cool. Question three: biggest setback or challenge so far in your career, and how did you react to it?
Mm, I think just falling short of like of the same goal like for multiple years in a row. I think how I got how I bounced back from it is just kind of letting go sometimes of your goals and like focusing on kind of just having getting back to basics and enjoying the sport really. And yeah, things kind of work out from there. So
Question four, the flip side, biggest achievement on or off the track.
biggest achievement on the track, I guess it has to be uh, all my national records, all of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good fact. Actually, I meant to ask you earlier, what's the biggest misconception that we would have as normal, generic, very slow people on the track have about sprinting?
That were really really fast. Like I don't think people realize how like on it might look like we're fast like on camera on TV, but like if you're up close next to someone who's really fast, like it's you're gonna be shocked. So
As
yeah.
in, you're quicker.
No, yeah, like it looks quick. Like people think like normal people think that oh like they're fast, but like I could give me a couple of years, I'll train. But no, it's a different gravy, sprinting.
Yeah,
So
I did see. Is it a clip from? I don't know if it's the Olympics or some other race where. No, I think it's another race where a normal person races a sprinter, and it's
mm,
like, and there's also another clip of a normal swimmer versus is it Katie Ledecky, and they give them
yeah.
like I don't even like a
Mm.
really big gap, and there's just like still blows them out of the water. Like
Yeah,
it's just different gravy, as you say.
it
That's
is.
interesting. So it's not like I think I was listening to an interview Rashida did there over Christmas, and she's like, "Yeah, my mom used to say when I was younger, just go faster. Like there's just people say, oh, I can just go quicker. No, you can't. You
Brian,
can't. Yeah, there's levels. There's levels to this.
for
um,
sure.
Advice to your 18-year-old self. What would you say to him?
Mm, It's like achievements and stuff are great. It's great to reach your achievements, but if you're not like happy and fulfilled within yourself, like you're wasting your time with whatever you're doing. So
Amazing. That's great advice. Question six: dream a dinner guest and why?
dream dinner guest. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Denzel Washington. He's my favorite actor. Like he's just a cool guy. Like so. And my mom used to say I look like him, but I don't. I definitely don't. I think she just had a crush on him, and she was like trying to like I don't know, but yeah, Denzel Washington.
That's cool. That's a great guess. I think he's come up a couple of times. That's a good one. What would you have for dinner?
Mm, I don't know what I have for dinner, but I had tiramisu. I have tiramisu for dessert. That's my weakness. That's my kryptonite. Tiramisu. If anywhere just tiramisu, I don't care the situation. Don't tell my coach, but I've had tiramisu before races. It works. Like it's just so good.
That's the secret, is it? If you tiramisus, you'd be grand.
I've literally I've broken like in 2024. I had tiramisu the night before I broke the national record for the second time, and it worked. Like so, yeah.
There you go. Good to know. Final question before I let you go. If your life was a book, which someday it might be, what chapter would this be called?
This chapter will be called Back to Basics. Yeah, I like that. Back to basics.
Love it. Love it. If anyone's listening that hasn't followed you yet, where's the best place to keep up with you and what you're doing?
Yeah, Instagram probably Israel.Olatunde. I'm trying to post more. I'm not perfect, but yeah, I think that's the best way. So
Brilliant. Well, Israel, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, I'll see you in Birmingham, breaking a few more records, and look forward to following your journey and catching up again in 10 years. Maybe you pick up the phone.
appreciate it, Orla. Thank you.